Have you ever wondered if you could just create a world from scratch? I mean, a totally self-sustaining ecosystem, with predators, prey, and all the chaos that comes with nature. Well, we're about to dive into this incredible 100-day experiment that did exactly that, starting from, of all places, our graveyard.
So that's the opening line from the creator of this little world. And wow, does that set the stage? This isn't just about growing some plants in a fish tank. It's a full-on story of life, death, and survival in a closed system, where entire empires can rise and fall in just a few weeks.
And yeah, that's the big question here, isn't it? When you build an ecosystem from the ground up, who actually makes it? Who fails? And what does it take to stop the whole thing from just collapsing on itself?
Okay, so how in the world do you even begin to build a world? Well, it turns out you start with the foundation of death, which, crazy as it sounds, is the source of all new life.
On day one, the world was built. The creator laid down dirt, a log, and, get this, the entire skeleton of a fox. Yeah, it looked completely barren, but this graveyard was packed with all the nutrients life would need to get started.
And it did not take long at all. Pretty soon, the first plants started sprouting, just totally taking over the whole landscape. Then the first animals showed up, snails, just quietly munching away. For a second there, everything was in this perfect, peaceful balance. But, in nature, peace is usually just the quiet before the storm.
And, just like that, the fragile little ecosystem faced its first major crisis. A hidden enemy was threatening to tear the whole thing apart before it even really got going.
Plants started disappearing, and fast. It wasn't the snails. Something else was at work. A secret force that was systematically destroying the very foundation of this new world from right under the surface.
So who were the culprits? Earthworms. Now, what's so fascinating here is how it shows a hero becoming a villain. I mean, in your garden, earthworms are amazing, right? But in this tiny, closed system with no natural predators, their population just exploded. They weren't just helping the soil, they were shredding the plant roots. It's a perfect example of how a species' role totally depends on its environment. Without any checks and balances, even a helper can bring everything crashing down. The system needed a check. It needed a predator. So enter the eastern worm snake, a master worm hunter. She was brought in to do one job: get that earthworm population back under control. And she was really, really good at her job. Balance was restored.
With that first war over, the ecosystem didn't just stabilize, it got way more complex. New species arrived, new food sources popped up, and with them, new conflicts.
By day 21, this world was just teeming with life. The plants had grown like crazy, and while a queen carpenter ant was secretly building an empire inside that log, new dangers were starting to pop up out in the open.
This time, the problem was crickets. Their population was exploding. With no one to hunt them, they were just feasting on everything, not just the plants, but even the eggs of other animals like the slugs. Another imbalance was threatening the world.
The solution had to be really precise. So, a deadly duo of male and female jumping spiders was introduced. And these guys are incredible. They have eyes on the front and back of their heads, so their vision is just amazing. One paralyzing bite, and pretty soon, the cricket problem was solved.
But you know how it goes. Success can create its own problems. With the ecosystem doing so well, some species got a little too successful. This led to overgrowth and the rise of a dominant power that threatened to crush everybody else. Just look at how quickly things escalate. By day 50, the tank was completely overgrown, basically choking itself out. And by day 80, the Ant Queen's little project was complete. An army was forming and it was ready to march. Now, this wasn't just another pest. This was an organized force. The carpenter ant empire was so efficient that it was outcompeting everyone, even those fearsome jumping spiders who were now actually struggling to find food. The whole system's diversity was at risk.
To fight an army, you need special forces. A group of wood scorpions was brought in. These are apex predators. They sit at the very top of this food chain. They're nearly blind, but they have these powerful claws, a venomous sting, and this really cool trait. They actually glow under UV light, which lets them recognize each other in the dark.
But even with an apex predator on the scene, the system was hitting a breaking point. It was too overgrown, too chaotic. It didn't need another small adjustment. It needed a hard reset.
By day 90, the environment itself started to change. The creators stopped the rain, and the ground began to crack and dry out. The stage was being set for a final, dramatic act.
And then this happens. The creator steps in and carefully removes every single animal. And you have to be thinking, wait, is the experiment over? Is this the end?
Well, the animals were removed, but it was for their own safety. Because what was about to happen was necessary for the world to survive, but it would have been catastrophic for everything living in it. On day 94, a wildfire was introduced. The fire spread like, well, wildfire, burning everything until almost every last plant was gone. It was a complete and total reset, a cleansing that actually mimics what happens in real forests all the time.
But destruction is rarely the end of the story, right? More often than not, it's a new beginning. The fire cleared the way for something new to grow.
And sure enough, from the ashes, new life began to sprout, and the cycle started all over again, showing just how incredibly resilient nature can be. Which leaves us with a final thought. If this tiny artificial world can survive plagues and wars and even fire, what does that say about the resilience of our own planet and the cycles of destruction and rebirth that are shaping it every single day?